Hines Ward, greatest receiver in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't believe you're retired. What do you do when you're retired? Do you eat ice cream? Do you stop working out? What do you do?
No, really, I just, I picked up my golf game a little bit and just relaxed a little bit, just to get a time to chill out with my family and my friends and just catch up, because I went through a dead period where, I was always focused on preparing, getting ready for the season. And, for me, now that my career is over with, I'm no longer doing that. So I'm still staying in shape. Of course, I don't want to get the beer belly yet. So, just trying to go out and just enjoy life.
Can't tell you how many guys I've talked to who are totally cool retiring until they get to when they're customarily reporting to camp. And that's when it finally hits. Has it hit you yet?
No, it hasn't hit me yet. I mean, I know, a lot of guys report on Wednesday. So for me, I'm very blessed with the opportunity of signing on with NBC. And now it's just a matter of just studying, preparing, because, not only I'm doing NFL games, but I'll be doing Notre Dame football as well. So I've always been a big Notre Dame fan. So now just getting, acclimated to the rosters and their upcoming schedules. So, for me, I'm excited. It's kind of like preparing for a football game, but now, I'm preparing for the upcoming season. So, I still can be a part of the game, but I don't have to go to training camp and sleep in dorm rooms and doing those things.
Lay out your responsibilities for NBC. You're going to be doing college and pro?
Yeah, I'll be doing NBC Sports Talk on Fridays. I'll be in New York. Saturday, I'll be joining Doug Flutie and doing Notre Dame football. And Sunday night, I'll be doing Sunday Night Football in America.
Is there any team that could call you right now, since you don't have a potbelly, and say, Hines, we need you, and you get up and go?
You know what? For me, I'm done. I think 14 years was just a great span, and to do it all with a great organization in the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all I can really ask for. Things didn't go as planned. Of course, you still want to play, but I look at it, for 14 years, kind of how my career started and how it ended, and all the things that I've accomplished over the 14 tenured there in Pittsburgh. I've done so much. I've done and amassed what any other football player can ever dream about. I've been to Pro Bowls. I've been to Super Bowls. I won 2. I lost 1. I did Dancing with the Stars. I've shot a head-to-shoulder commercial with no hair on my head.
How'd that all work out, considering Troy Polamalu is your complete opposite when it comes to all things hair?
I've just been very blessed. I mean, like I said, I've achieved so much in the 14 years that I was there in Pittsburgh, more than I could ever dreamt about, achieving being a football player. But for me, I mean, it's no looking back. I have no regrets. I've gotten everything that I ever wanted out of playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers and living my dream and playing in the NFL. So for me, there's nothing left for me to really prove. I prove to myself that I can play at a high level in the NFL. I got recognition, by going to Pro Bowls. I've been to Super Bowls. So for me, I'm closing the chapter of that of my life in that area and opening up another chapter in life after football.
Hines Ward, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, former Steelers great. Okay, we're going to give you your first test to see if you will really speak freely. Not like you've really ever had any problems speaking freely, but I want you to listen to this. So Troy Polamalu was on with Dan Patrick last week, and Dan asked him if he's ever lied about concussions to get back on the field. This is what he had to say.
Yes, I have, for sure.
How do you do that?
Well, there's just so much built up about team camaraderie and sacrifice, And football is such a tough man's game. I think that's why it's so popular, and that's why so many blue collar communities and people can really feel attracted to this, because it is sort of a blue collar struggle, that football players go through in terms of the physicality of the game and the commitment you need. So it would be no different than a guy who wakes up to go to the mines every day in West Virginia.
You are one of the hardest hitting, hardest blocking receivers I have ever seen on a football field. How much does what Troy just said resonate with you personally?
For me, I can relate to that. So many guys, we know what we sign up when we play football. We know it's a dangerous sport, but we choose to do it. Only in America where you can play football, do something that we love to do as football players and get paid a tremendous amount of money doing something we love to do. A lot of people can't say that. So for a lot of football players, their dream is to make it in the NFL. There comes a price tag with that, not only financially but health-wise. So many people, football players nowadays, I don't think look at the game and worrying what their life is going to be like, when they turn 40 or 50 or 60 years old. I look at Aaron Rodgers. The year that they beat us in Dallas in the Super Bowl, he had 3 concussions that year. And I never once did I think Aaron was sitting there worrying about contemplating on should he play the rest of the season because he's worrying about his concussion, the aftermath of what is going to affect him at the age of 40 and 50.
So have you lied too? Did you lie when you knew in your mind that you probably had a concussion and you just...
I don't know if I really lied, but I felt fine.
You just hide it.
I don't know. I remember that, I got knocked out in the Baltimore game, and it was a national televised game. But for me, as a football player, I just thought I got my bell rung. You don't think getting your bell rung is considered a concussion, because I remembered everything. I remember what play it was. I remember everything leading up to that week. And I gave the doctors a half. I said, okay, I won't go back in the half, but I want to go back in the second half. Well, with so much media attention about concussion, there's no way the doctors are going to put their livelihood and put me back in the game. I felt totally fine, and then the week prior after that, then, you see Colt McCoy go down with a concussion. He got hit twice as hard as I did. And couldn't even remember the hit, and they let him back in the game. So there's just a sense of the inconsistency, from the doctors and the people who are involved, with this whole concussion thing. Yeah, I'm not trying to be insensitive to people with concussions, but they're so far off, because I look at concussions. The NFL say they care about concussions, but yet they want to add 2 more games to an already violent sport. There's 4 or 5 different styles of helmet that the NFL has, in the league. I see different players with different helmets. Why not mandate one helmet and treat everybody a guinea pig as, this one particular helmet that you vouch for, and then get a true study of kind of, what the hits from these helmets do to us. I'm looking down trying to change helmets. How as a player can I decide which helmet to wear if there's 4 or 5 different options? I don't know which helmet's better than which, so I just stay with my old Dale helmet that I've been wearing ever since I was a little league guy playing Pop Warner football. So many concussions. We try to get a read on them, but the true read is when these kids start playing Pop Warner when they're in 5th and 6th grade. They're wearing basically the same helmet size, but their heads are smaller. And they fall down, they probably can have a concussion, at the earlier stages in life that leading up to going to college, you don't know how many brain damage this kid's had. So I don't understand how they can get a true reading on, tell us about concussion. Is 1 concussion too many? Is 10 concussion? Like, tell me how many concussion it takes for me to be kind of a fried egg when it's all said and done. You know, they don't have a true study for that to tell me that, you don't need to play football or whatever.
Well, that would take a lot of synergy. I mean, you're right. And it seems like you're starting to see this trickle-down effect where high schools and colleges are starting to pay more attention to that. But let me ask you this, former Steelers great, current NBC analyst Hines Ward. If, as you say, guys know what they're signing up for when they get into the league, then why do you have players like Bruce Smith, Eric Dickerson suing the league when they're making conscious choices to lie or fudge it or hide it, and then they're going to come back and try to hit the league afterwards?
Because for us football players, you got to understand, our contracts aren't guaranteed. So in order for us to sit there, how do they want us to tell the doctors that we have a concussion, knowing that the team, the owner, when it comes down to if it's your contract year, they will turn around and use that against you. You know, so as players, you're going to lie and do whatever it takes to stay on that field and be productive. You know, did you watch the movie Any Given Sunday? I look at Lawrence Taylor in that end where he wanted to do whatever it took to stay on that field so he can get that $1 million bonus. As football players, we all can relate to that. You know, there's so many guys who aren't first-rounders who don't get that big payday. There's a lot of 60-70% of guys who are third, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth picks who never made that $1 million. So for them, it's more lying on that sense because they don't want to be expendable. You know, you take a guy like Austin Collie who had all these crazy, concussions, but next year they can go out and draft somebody and say, you know what, this guy's had a longevity of concussions. He's no longer good to us. Because he's had so many concussions. So a lot of guys like to play. You play through pain in order to make that payday or stay on the field. And some of the time, doctors, they know if guys are hurt or whatever, but they don't give us the right medical attention to sit there and say, you know what, you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, there is that limited window. You're right. There's that limited window, and I understand that. All right, Hines, we got 20 seconds left. I know you were so psyched to shoot Batman The Dark Knight Rises, but in light of the Aurora shootings last week in the theater, what's that experience been like knowing that you were involved with the film?
It was a great honor to be part of Batman. I've always been a fan of Batman, the trilogy of all the different ones, but to be there, it was the best one out of all the Batmans, and just to see our fans in Hinesville with some of my teammates, it was a great opportunity for us. I want to thank Thomas Toll, who is an investor of the Steelers, for bringing up creating that idea and having us on there. So it was a great opportunity. Unfortunately, it was dampened by the tragedies that went on in Colorado, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and whatnot, and hopefully we can find some way somehow to kind of get over that, because it's just so crazy that, you have people trying to imitate the Joker and do some things like that that's out there, So thoughts and prayers go out to the victims, but at the same time, it was a big honor to be a part of the movie.
Smiley, always great to hear from you. Enjoy retirement. We'll catch up soon.
Okay, anytime, Lonnie.
All right. Hines Ward, former Steelers great.